Hello, welcome to another episode of Music Go Round, and today we're doing this all again, because that's what we do. We do these things again. We're talking about the Who's Quadrophenia. This one here. Who remembers this one? Do you remember this one? This one is from the 26th of October 1973. This is the reissue that they did, and it's a very fine reissue too. So he's got the booklet inside and everything, and it tells you all the pictures. Yeah. There you go. So cool. There's some nudity there. We can't have that. So yeah, Quadrophenia. It's a concept album, and it's the Who's. Well, I suppose if you count the Sell Out one, is it the third? You know, because the Who Sell Out's kind of a concept album, isn't it? And yeah, it's a funny album for me. Not for you, but for me, it's a funny album because I always came to the film first, and so for me, the film is Quadrophenia, and the way that the narrative of the film unfolds, because it's different. The album's different. It's a bit more optimistic than the film version. Same elements, but you know, again, it's so in my head, the film, that when I listen to the album, bits of it, you know, kind of stick out. And like, oh, I don't remember that. You know, it's like that song. I don't remember that song. That song isn't in it. You know, because you know some of the bits. It's different. It's a different soundtrack. It's a different soundtrack. That's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm doing a rather bad job of doing it. But the interesting thing about Quadrophenia is it was recorded in 73, and it's looking back 10 years. And in those days, 10 years was a long period of time, because there was a lot of cultural things happening in that decade. And so you go from like the early teenagers of the 50s growing into the mods and the rockers fighting on Brighton Beach, the early Who, when they was part of the mod scene, and so you have Townsend looking back 10 years and writing a concept album about something over the hill. It's a bit like, I don't know, a band in 2005, 2006 writing about a concept album about Britpop. I always find that really curious, and how time has kind of, I don't know, dilated somehow. 10 years now seems like a long time ago, but not so long ago, whereas then it seemed like a long time ago because of like I say, the amount of cultural change there's been, whereas now cultural change is a lot slower, I think, because of, thanks to the internet and all that stuff. I think we don't have the artistic and musical change that we used to have back in the 50s and 60s. So for me, it's an interesting thing that Townsend should sit and write a concept album about something that happened not that long ago, or maybe it was. And it's existed in many different formats. We have the album, we have the film. It's been revived as a musical, as a live touring musical type thing. So it exists on its own. It tells the story of, well, is he an everyman? I suppose he is. Jimmy. He's meant to represent the listener. He's the everyman, but he has issues. He has quadrophenia. He feels like there's four of him, and that's why these guys are on the record, because they're meant to represent every aspect. I don't know if you notice. Look, there they are. It's the band, and they're meant to represent the different aspects of his personality that he comes out on. He's strung out on amphetamines and drugs and whatnot, and he wants to be someone. He wants to be something. He thinks that the mod culture is an answer, and as we go on his journey, he realises it isn't. It is all a bit, a waste of time. It's all surface and no substance, and he unravels. That's the story, really. But whoops, in this version, there's an more optimistic end than the film edition. I always think that the film version is a bit more fatalistic. Go and watch the film. Go and watch the film. I mean, we all interpret these things in a different way. So yeah, when I listen to this record again, it's not one that I'm overly familiar with. I mean, I've looked as opposed to Who Sell Out or Who's Next or Tommy or whatnot. But it's one when I do go back to, I always enjoy it. I get a great deal of enjoyment out of it. Like I say, the film just looms large, so I'm like sitting there going, I prefer the film, because like I say, it's kind of in my DNA, and it's one of those great British movies of the late 70s. Again, as a record, there's a lot of stuff on here. You forget just how you have the overture at the beginning, and again Townsend's doing it's very similar in format to what he did with Tommy. In here I think the story's a bit better told than it is in Tommy. In the music, I think lyrically it's a bit more on the nose. So yeah, I like that. But there's a little bit of a wane. I think it does go on a little bit. It goes on a little bit for me. It's usually around, I guess it's is it the last bit? I don't know. There's bits that could be excised and make it a shorter album. Because how long is it? It is 81 minutes. All right, okay, so it's not that long. Could be longer. Could be 90 minutes, couldn't it? But again, I think with the movie version, they did a better job of formatting it. Whereas here it's just a little bit more ponderous. But saying that, side 3 is side 1 and 3 I think are pretty good. Side 2's alright, but some bits could be taken out. And side 4, I always had the Dr. Jimmy song. I think it goes on a bit, and the line about I'll rape it or I'll rape her or whatever, just doesn't sit well with me. I don't like that song. It's just I don't know. I don't think it's needed. So yes, I do think there's a little bit. This is me being critical. I'm just being critical of it for the review, and so if you're upset by my criticisms, please vent in the comment box below, and if you're lucky, I'll leave them there, and if you call me names, they'll be deleted and you will be blocked. Let's be friendly. So yeah, as a concept album, yeah, it's a pretty interesting. It's an interesting story. Again, a fan becoming disenfranchised and and at a loss to why you followed a band or followed a culture. It's called growing up. We all get there. And look, we all grow up and leave our childish foibles behind. No, and we never do. But we do grow in and out of bands and music and everything, relationships, jobs. That's the nature of being a human being. We change, and that's kind of what the main thrust of the album is. It's about growing up, and when you're young, you don't understand that you're growing up, and that's why you don't make sense of the world. The world makes no sense, and when you're an adult, the world still makes no sense, but you've got to kind of pretend that you're winging it, and that, hey, I know all about this stuff, otherwise your kids will get worried and think that you're not in control of the situation. So yeah, it's, again, that makes it a very interesting, very deep record. I think, again, Townsend needs to be commended for it, because I don't think any other rock stars were writing this kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, again, I think it tends to be overshadowed for me anyway. Tommy overshadows it, but yeah, it's certainly a great record. It's certainly a classic album. And again, like I say, it's been performed in many different ways. There's like the touring version that they did. There's been a classic Quadrophenia. It lives on in different formats and whatnot. So yeah, of course, if you're watching this, you've probably already checked it out and you're taking notes. You're seeing if I'm saying the same things that you think about the record. And yeah, I mean, I think after Who's Next, this is, it's a pretty strong record, and after this, it's it's kind of a free fall into into the Who that we know and love now. So yeah, I've been talking about. I've got to give it a rating. I'm going to give it 5. What the hell? It doesn't matter. I'm going to give it 5. Cut my hair out of 5. That's 5. Cut my hair out of 5. But really, it's more of a 4 because for me, it's just a 4. I'm just saying 5 to keep you guys happy because it doesn't. The ratings doesn't mean any. It's not the important part. The rating isn't the important part. But it's really more a 4, even a 3, because there are some bits that need to be trimmed off of it. It's a little bit flabby. Some of the themes repeat themselves. Musical themes repeat themselves too often. But that's just my opinion. You may disagree, and that is okay. So yeah, I've been talking about Quadrophenia by The Who. They're The Who. There it is, and oops, there's the middle bit. I was hoping it wasn't going to open on the nude pictures, because then you know what YouTube's like. It can be a bit funny. Thank you for watching. There's only one more thing left to say after this. Is we'll be doing that one, I guess, next. Hey, clever stuff, eh? Got to get back on the horse. And I'll see you all soon. Ta-da!